They Always Win is a new film by director Gil Rivera. It's a film about a topic that's multi-layered and complex, relationships and romantic ones at that. Joining him is one of the stars of his film, Prakash Patil, who is an Indian actor and model based in New York City. Thank you so much for joining me on Inside Scoop, Gil and Prakash. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Well, thank you for having us.
Of course. So, Gil, let's start with you. Tell me a little bit about the premise of this film.
Well, basically, this film is about relationship told through the eyes of the nice guy, whatever that is. It's basically a 3-story anthology broken down into pre-relationship, relationship, and post-relationship. Basically, we found that Hollywood doesn't really give justice to the story of the nice guy. Mm-hmm. All the struggles they go through when they're trying to win over the girl that they like or girl that just happens to be catching their eyes at the moment. They tend to go through a lot. Those stories don't get told. And when it gets told, it's usually told in a comedy. And to the nice guy, it's not funny, getting your heart broken. So a bunch of us sat together and we spoke about the situation. It dawned on me like, hey, why not put this into a film? It should be interesting. And hence that began the journey of They Always Win.
Tell me a little bit about the 3 stages of a relationship that you just talked about.
Yeah, well, 3 stages is basically, you have the act 1 is all about pre-relationship. It's all the dating process, all the things that guys do to try to win the woman over. Fails and success plays a role in it. And then comes story 2, act 2, which is what happens to stuff when a guy's in a relationship. And these stories, they basically don't have happy endings. They're not really happy stories. So in the relationship one is basically, what guys go through when they get taken for granted. The woman knows that he's safe, that he's not going to go nowhere, so she does whatever she wants, or don't give him the actual respect that he deserves. And post-relationship, Act 3, which is post-relationship, is basically that conversation that you want to have with the girl that broke your heart. And this story basically takes place 7 years after the heartbreak occurred. And the guy basically wants to get at her and let her know that, hey, I'm successful now, and let me know what happened, why didn't it work out. And it's these questions that always the nice guys always ask themselves, like, why didn't she choose me? Why she chose him? Mm-hmm. So it's based on those questions. And
sure. How did you go about researching?
Many researches. Most of my research came from one personal experience and many friends' personal experience. Every guy has a story about that girl.
Sure, and the minute you start asking, you start, hearing all these stories that you didn't really know about.
Yes, I once realized that there are so many of us that have that similar story, mm-hmm. but yet no one talks about it. No one admits that, yes, she broke my heart. Yes, she made me cry, or she broke his heart, and everything like that. No one really talks about these stories. As a man, you just don't do it. But in today's age, I kind of find that it's the perfect timing to have these questions being brought out. And the best way to put it for me is through the art form. And this instant will be film.
Sure, and this is your first outing as the director of a feature film, right?
Correct. I've done a couple of short films here and there, and a lot of moving portraits for some of my clients, and a couple of music videos here and there. But this is the first time I'm actually tackling a feature film.
And I want to get back to talking about your experience as the captain of the ship. But let's turn it over to Prakash, who is one of the stars of the film. Prakash, before we get into your role in the film, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm an actor model, as you know here. I won a couple of awards in modeling, and couple of awards for my humanitarian work, and last year I was Mr. India Galaxy. Wow. And right now I'm Mr. USA United Nations competing World Finals in July.
Tell me a little bit about that. So where is this competition?
It's going to be held in Jamaica country, and so I'm going to travel all the way to Jamaica, and all the country delegates are going to come there. Like, I'm going to compete with Mr. India. Isn't that funny?
That's funny. So you'll be representing USA.
Yes.
Huh, interesting.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, it will be for sure.
My career has been started with modeling, I mean, I'm an IT person. I've done my MBA. I was working at Wall Street. And all of a sudden, my life has changed altogether for past couple of years. And I'm right now in front of you.
Yeah, so you're just going with the flow then, huh?
Yes, it's going to the flow. And America has really welcomed me with an open arms. It's going good.
So tell me a little bit about your career in IT. Is that something you still do, or have you given up your job to pursue
So as of
modeling and
now,
acting?
I am not working for past 3 months. I'm
Okay.
doing full-time acting and modeling. But I was working till, I could say like March. And then I'm done with that. I'm working with my entertainment. Fashion is my passion, so I want to do what I want to do now.
Very brave, and I think you need to, go in with everything you have, right? Without
Just
being
giving
on
up.
the fence. That's very fearless of you.
Right.
Let's talk about your role in the film. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, as he said, every guy has a story. And even I had a story in the movie. I'm a nice guy. I'm a nice Indian guy.
Not stereotypical at all.
Well, first when Gil approached me and he told me about the script, and I was really fascinated, in fact.
Yeah.
As he said, every guy has a story. And we in the school, we talk like, hey, you have a girlfriend. Who ditched whom? And it came into real life now,
Yeah.
into a movie. I mean, it's a nice guy role, and I shouldn't say much. Watch the movie.
Sure. Did you relate to your character at
Yes,
all?
I did. I mean, in fact, we as entire cast and crew, we talked to each other about the script. We rehearsed each other. We first try to maintain a chemistry between each other so that we can feel very spontaneous when we deliver the dialogues. So we had a couple of workshops for that too.
And how is Gil as a director?
Oh, he's a fantastic person. I have done a couple of feature films now. He's not only a director, I still remember he dropped me home like midnight, 2 a.m. all the way to New Jersey from Uptown Bronx. He really takes care of his cast, and he wants this has to be delivered. If it has not been delivered, I requested him, give me 100 takes. I never mind, but let me know what you want. And he's happy with everybody what we have done.
Talking about the cast, Gil, tell me a little bit more about the other stars in the film and the rest of your team who's helping you make this film.
Well, mainly, I have a really fabulous team. I mean, I can't stop thanking them. From Landry, who is our audio mixer, amazing guy and such a great guy when it comes to every aspect of filmmaking. He's been a big clutch. Then comes our director of photography, Raheem. Raheem is also an amazing guy. They are so helpful from every aspect, from
Yes,
recording
they're
to
very helpful.
post-processing. Then we have Chris, we have Kobe, we have, the list goes on. I mean, just a group of passionate, dedicated group that just wants to come here and make sure that this succeeds.
Of course.
And everybody's been like, they help each other. This is what I like. Everybody's like a team at that moment. When one person's a little bit weak, the other person picks them up. And even me as a director, there's days where I'm not 100% there, and my director of photography picks me up. Or Landry, who's been almost borderline my assistant, has been picking me up here and there, advising me here, this, or try that. Also, when it comes to the script, we meet with the actors and the writers, and I have the writers personalize the character to this actor. And everybody gets together and they cooperate and they do what it needs to be done to make sure this film is a success. And I thank Prakash and I thank everybody for that.
That's what teamwork is all
Yes,
about,
it
right?
is.
Tell me a little more about the actors in the film. Of course, Prakash is the star of one of the acts, but tell me a little bit about the other actors.
Well, one of the other actors is Prakash's counterpart, Yoshi. Yoshi Padilla, who is an amazing actress
She's a diva.
as well. Yeah,
Oh, really?
she's a diva. She's funny. She's great, but she nails it every single time.
Yep.
And then we have Nat, magnificent guy. He played alongside with Prakash.
Yes.
Also amazing guy, very straight to the point. Learned his lines ridiculously fast. He was a last second casting, and I can't stop talking about everybody else. Then in the other stories we have JT, who's the protagonist of the other story, story 3, and trying to think of another person here. We also have. I'm sorry, I'm really bad with all these names right now.
No, of course. I mean, you are captain of this ship, and there are a lot of people on it.
There's a lot of people here.
Understand. So I have to say, the treatment, this film is very unique. The way you've broken it out into 3 phases or 3 parts.
Correct.
Are there any Hollywood films or international films that you sort of drew inspiration from, or is there any film that you can compare your film to?
Well, there's several different films that I watched. Some American and mostly all European films that I watched that gave me inspiration, which I was like, that's a really good story and nicely told. And of course, keeping all that in mind, when you get on your creative process, it comes all together. One of which is 500 Days of Summer.
Oh, of course.
Which I think is one of the greatest films I ever saw. Yes, I love that film. There's a Spanish film called En la Cama, which means in the bed, which also gave me a huge inspiration for the early stages of the story. The list goes on. This is a Slovakian movie, which I can't pronounce the name, so I'm not going to even try, but which is also an amazing movie. And I was like, wow, people in Slovakia really know how to make films.
Of course.
And the list goes on. It's just a life of watching films all coming together.
Okay, at least it gives our viewers out there a good idea of the flavor of your film, which sounds very interesting.
The flavor of the film, well, I would have to say is, I would like to say like a dark romance. Dark romance because, yes, it's very passionate, it's very emotional. But not necessarily happy endings. Not necessarily a happy story. It's not something you want to brag about if it happened to you, which is what makes this story such a unique one.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of guys just burying their soul.
Prakash, I'm curious to know, how did you go about preparing for your role? How did you really get into character?
It's a very good question, basically. I remember Amy, she was one of the writers for the script. She asked me about the Indian culture. How does an Indian guy treat a girl? I mean, vice versa, how the relationships exist in India. Yeah. I mean, including Gil, they made a very thorough history about India. They understood the artifacts. How does an Indian culture work? So me and Amy, we had in Skype calls and we were discussing about it. And then I was slowly getting to the character, like an Indian school boy. How does it go in India?
That's one way in. Very interesting. Were there any challenges you faced while preparing for the role? Were you ever, stuck, or did you have any blocks along the way where you kind of had to reach out to Gil or other sources for inspiration? Or did it kind of just like flow very smoothly?
It flowed very smoothly. I don't think we had any great challenges. Oh no, everything. We had a great teamwork, I used to say.
Sure.
If I don't know some lines, I used to go to my co-actors and, hey, can you please read lines? And they were so happily able to help me out. Yeah. They helped me out to get out of the Indian accent of English into American accent of English.
That's
and
incredible.
I was like, wow, what a great... Life is adventurous.
Yeah.
It's always a chance to learn from each other.
Yeah. Well said. Sounds like more than anything else, you had a great time on this set, in addition to doing some fantastic work. Gil, I want to talk to you about your experience being director on this film. Like I said before, you are captain of the ship, and you have a lot of responsibilities, a lot of people to manage, which I think is pretty challenging. Before I ask you what the most challenging thing was, I want to know what the most rewarding thing was for you.
Oh, the most rewarding thing is actually the day after production is done, sitting in the computer and looking at the footage and saying to myself, I did this. I'm putting this together. This is what it's all about. That's actually been the most rewarding. There's other rewards there too. It's just knowing that there's people there that want to see you succeed. Yeah. That they're working their butt off like Prakash. Prakash traveled from New Jersey to come all the way to my house several times, and he's dedicated. He even slept over one day because it was just late. And he was like, just pure dedication to making sure that we succeed. The same thing goes with the whole crew. Everybody, that's, I think, is the most rewarding thing. I'll take that back. Yeah, it's not watching the footage. It's watching other people working around me to see that I succeed.
You can have two rewarding things.
Yes. Well,
so watching the rushes, and of course watching how your cast and team members are working together.
Yes.
And what was perhaps the most challenging thing for you?
Well, the most challenging definitely is getting locations, being that we have next to no budget on this, and we've been basically crowdfunding and taking out of pocket to get what we need to make this movie a success. That's been the most challenging, difficult thing that so far I've been dealing with.
So let's talk about how you are going about funding this film. Tell me a little bit about how you've been going about with your crowdfunding campaign.
Well, basically we do like with every film, every part that we shoot, we make a little snippet. We make a little sneak peek, and we take it around to people. We go around to them and be like, hey, this is what we're doing. Take a look at this. It could be better if we could get some type of help. Many people has jumped into it by donating either monetary or giving us location, like the Beverly Park Cafe in the Bronx. Let us use the entire diner for a few hours just to shoot there and shoot the scene. We finished it really fast, faster than what I thought we would do, because they all nailed their lines like this, which I was like, I almost felt like it was a joke. I was like, wait a minute, we're basically done. I got the shot that I wanted. They nailed it like this, wonderful. And
you remember, Gil, especially the one with the fighting scene?
Oh, yeah, the
I want to hear about that. Tell me about that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Without giving too much of the story away, basically, one of Raja's, which is the character that Prakash is playing, gets told the really bad news, which I'm not going to reveal what it is yet.
Yeah.
But
you have to wait for the film to come out to get to know that.
Exactly. But Prakash gets angry at the news and gets into a shoving match with his friend. Well, not Prakash, Raja. Gets into gets into a shoving match with Joseph, who is played by Jose Valdez, because of this news that he's receiving. And that was really great. I mean,
we were afraid. Downstairs people are going to come up and have get out of the house.
Yeah,
because we are so into a character, and we were just spontaneously delivering dialogues as if we really, really are like enemies, and we got to nail it down right away.
Yes, the facial expressions in this scene was just epic. I looked at it and I was like, wow, Prakash could get angry.
He never believed me. I would get angry.
Prakash could get angry. I was so amazed by that. And yeah, we were concerned because we were shooting in an apartment, and there was now downstairs neighbor, and we were running behind shooting schedule, so we were a little bit later than what we thought. So I didn't want to disturb anybody's dinner.
Of course.
But oh my God, it was just amazing.
So when did you guys finish filming?
Well, we're hoping to be finished by the end of the summer, filming everything. We're already 66% of it is already shot.
Okay, so you're still filming and you'll be done by the end of the summer.
Correct.
Okay.
And then hopefully my goal is sometime by Thanksgiving, have the finished product, at least the first draft of the finished product.
Wow, that's so exciting.
And then have a private screening where people can come, people that invest, people that helped us, could come and view this and see what they helped make.
Of course.
And then, of course, we get feedback and go back to the editing board.
Sure.
And then hopefully have a beautiful product that everybody's going to love.
Of course you're going to love it. There's so much hard work that's gone into this, and the story sounds really great. Tell me a little bit about your distribution plans. Do you have somebody lined up?
Yes, we met during the fundraising stages. An old friend of mine made a small donation, but he contacted me and he asked me, do I remember what he does for a living? And I was like, no, not really. I know you're doing well because you have a nice house and a nice car, so you must be doing well. And he goes, well, he works making DVDs for distributor houses, and he knows a couple of distributors. And he showed the Indiegogo fundraiser to one of the distributors, and the distributor wants to see the finished product before we put it anywhere. So, hopefully we're gonna have a nice distribution plan in motion when the movie's finished.
Of course. I bet you it'll all pan out the way you want. Fingers
movie
crossed
theaters,
for
that's
you.
what I want.
That's the ultimate goal, right?
Yes, that's the ultimate goal.
Or maybe a sweet Netflix deal. How about that?
I would take
In
it.
addition to the
I
movie
would take it,
theaters.
but movie theater.
Movie theaters first, absolutely.
Select theaters, select cities, doesn't matter to me. International, here in the United States, doesn't matter.
Sure. As an actor, Prakash, I want to know what do you see, coming out of this film when people get to see it?
Well, people are definitely going to enjoy the movie because as it's a personal, it's an external experience of every single person that goes through, and I think they can really enjoy it. And as an actor, I'm really excited to see not just my delivery or my work. I want to see the full finished work of the entire film. I just want to watch it and have fun.
Great. And do you have any other interesting projects lined up? I know you're off to compete at
Mr. United Nations
Mr.
World.
United Nations World. But is there anything else in terms of film projects coming down the pike?
Yeah, I have a couple of projects in the pipeline right now. I'm traveling to India for a Marathi film and a Tamil film. It's a feature film.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Great. And Gil, what about you? Is this kind of consuming all your time, or are you working on any other projects as well?
Well, right now, this is pretty much consuming all my time. Yeah, it's just a lot of work. So
They always
I can't take
win.
another
Gil is
one.
going to win. I'm confident.
Yes, we definitely are.
Great. And is there any message that you have for our viewers out there with regard to your film, and what message you want to send out to them?
Yes, don't overlook the nice guy. Don't overlook the nice guy. He's nice for a reason. You're gonna want a nice guy. Yeah, that's about it at the moment.
And that's to all the girls out there, right?
All the girls.
Nice guys do finish first sometimes. They do.
Eventually.
Eventually
They finish first.
Give them a chance. Well, it's been a pleasure having you on our show. I wish you all the very best, Gil and Prakash. Thank you so much for joining us on Inside Scoop.
Thanks for inviting us in the studio. We really felt very comfortable. This is our first TV interview for the film. They always win, and we're going to win people's heart.
Wonderful.
Yes.
First of many, many more to come.
Yes.
Yes.
And I hope they show you guys a sneak peek.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, excuse me. Sorry to bother you. I would love to introduce myself to you. I'm Raja.
I'm charmed.